All
And
right.
I'm still chopping onions.
Betsy, you're crying.
Of joy.
Oh, good, good, good. All right, well, welcome everybody. Welcome to Kind Soup Saturdays. I hope everybody had a nice holiday or a nice day off or whatever everybody was doing. I hope it was fun and happy.
It was.
Good. We've got Brad and Sheila teaching us Aunt Lynn's white chicken chili. Is there a story behind either Aunt Lynne or this chili?
Well, the story actually is more about my mother than it is my Aunt Lynne.
Okay.
Mother, we'll say, is culinarily challenged. So fortunately, she has two sisters that share recipes with her quite frequently. And over the last couple of years, as my mother's health has declined, I've traveled out to Colorado from here in Washington or here in Maryland to go fill the refrigerator up with food for them. Just, portioned out stuff that she's used to cooking. And I realized when I was going through her cookbooks, everything was either Lynne or Colleen. And so they're her two sisters. So this is Lynn's white chili or Colleen's, Texas roll-ups or whatever it is. They probably came from somebody else. It's just how to get exposed to my mother's.
It came via Aunt Lynne, right?
Exactly.
That's awesome. I love that. We have new names today and we have a lot of returners and a lot of new people. Welcome everybody.
I love that story because it's like you're passing the kindness. You're going to cook for your mom, which is very kind, and now you're sharing it with us, so it'll keep going.
Yes.
When I was out there the last time, I made lots of this and put it in her freezer for her, so I know it freezes great. She loves it.
Aw, that's terrific. All right, we're all yours, Brad.
All right, so just want to make sure everybody before the meal or before we got started, we chopped up the onions. You needed 2 medium onions chopped. And then also part of the assignment was to chop up the green onions, separating the greens from the whites. And then peel and mince your garlic, however you want to do it, whether it's through a garlic press or you chop it and get it all over your hands and let it smell for 3 days. I think somebody last week loved to smell that garlic. You could certainly do that. And then you should have opened up the 8 cans of beans and drained them and rinsed them at this point in time. So if we need to pause for anybody, let us know. But that's kind of what the deal is there. I used yellow onions. You could certainly use white onions. And, it says finely chopped. You could chop them however you want. Bigger chunks give you a little bit more hearty flavor, bigger pieces. They just take a little bit longer to cook. So basically then after you got all that, first step was to grab a large stock pot, turn it up onto medium high, heat up some oil. I use olive oil. I'm not scorching it really high, but and basically we want to add the onions and the white parts of the green onions, garlic and the green chilies, and just get those until the onions are soft. We're not trying to brown these. We're just trying to lower, to reduce their, get the moisture to come out. A couple of, I don't know if it was last week's or a couple soups ago, somebody was talking about it being a pantry soup. And certainly that's what I was thinking when I was looking at most of the ingredients here. You really could make everything out of almost all your pantry. I mean, if you wanted to use canned chicken, you probably could. But you're basically looking at onions, green onions, and fresh cilantro if you wanted to add that, right? So, and some cheese. So most of everything came out of the closet.
Is the recipe also, could you put the recipe in the chat as well?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. If we're not exactly on time with you, Brad, thank you.
See here.
While Brad's doing that, I saw a lot of people have signed in since I said hello to everybody. I wanted to let you guys know I put a new document. It's called the second thing on the chat is called forms.office.com, and it would allow you to just go in whenever you deliver your soups, whether it's to people or to any of the places on our website, and just report in what you delivered. So we don't have to go with the emails if you want. That would be really helpful. But to tell you the impact that we've had so far, besides all the fun we've had over the last 5 weeks or 4 weeks, we have donated over 400 quarts in just 5 weeks. That's almost 270 actually to the Up County Hub that went out to families. 45 quarts just last Sunday went to Here to Help, which is now a location in Chevy Chase that we're dropping soups off that goes directly out to families on Sunday afternoons. And then 87 quarts to other places, including those Montgomery County Coalition for the Homeless Shelters, friends undergoing chemo and with other illnesses, to families that had just had new babies, to elderly neighbors, and to friends and to volunteers who we wanted to say thank you to. So we have had quite an impact and a lot of fun. So if you get a chance, please copy that link so you can report in what you're doing with your extra soups during the week. Thanks so much.
Can you put the link in again? Because for people who just joined, I don't think it shows up.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just joined. Hi, Deb.
Hey, Sarah, how are you?
I'm just fine. I have everything all prepped. I'm just about ready to start cooking. So
You follow directions. Woo. Excellent.
Yeah.
There it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
And Deb,
what's
where
your-
did you say we could find that link if we're online and we are looking for it on the KindWorks site, or is it not
Did
there?
I say that?
Oh, I probably not.
That's a very nice way to remind me to put it on the website, which I will do. Thank you.
And if your onions have gotten soft at this point in time, go ahead and stir in the cumin, the oregano, and the red pepper.
It's kind of weird.
I've learned many things through these sessions. One of them is one must turn on the stove top before one expects things to cook. I just want to thank you for that. I'm always turning on the wrong burners. And for those of you who've been following this story, so the story is, it was my grandmother's pot. It was made in Germany, and I did make a chocolate bundt cake yesterday. It came out well. There was so much butter in there because I was so concerned about it not being able to come out without breaking up, and it actually worked just fine. So I now have a good recipe if anyone wants a chocolate bundt cake recipe.
If you've already stirred in the dry ingredients, go ahead and just let it sit for like literally 30 seconds just to combine and cook those vegetables, and then go ahead and add the beans and the broth.
How soft should the onions be?
You know, like tender. They will continue to cook for another 45 minutes, so they don't have to be desperately soft, but you just kind of like wanted to get them soft a little bit.
Okay, thanks.
So you're adding the 8 cups or the 8 cans of the drained beans that were rinsed, and then the 12 cups of chicken broth or stock. I don't know if anybody, a little tip, I mean, later on in the recipe, I refer to chicken, and I usually go to the store and just grab one of those rotisserie chickens and carve that up, and you use it for, I don't know, all the different soups I make with chicken, whether it's chicken noodle soup or this. But then after I'll take off all the meat, I just throw the carcass in a freezer bag and throw it in the freezer and collect, 2 or 3 of them. And then when I've got that many, then I just take that and I'll use that to make my own chicken stock with. So you use the whole chicken ultimately.
Oh, that's cool.
And once you've added the beans and the broth, you just kind of bring it back up to heat up to like medium high to get it to a boil. And then just you kind of like want to reduce it back down to medium once it starts to boil, just to let it cook there for about 45 minutes uncovered. And if everybody is, if everybody is added the beans and you're waiting for it to boil, then you can take your chicken, and if you bought rotisserie chicken like I did, you can take the skin off and dice it up. And I use the white meat, the dark meat, I use everything.
Can I
It's
ask the
just-
collective wisdom of this group? So I had some frozen uncooked chicken breasts and I stuck it in one of my containers of chicken stock and just slow cooked it in a pot till it started, to come apart with the fork. So I've got this really chickeny broth and the chicken. Can I put the broth and the chicken in now and cook the chicken for 45 minutes, or will it just get rubbery and disgusting?
If you've already cooked that chicken, I
Yes.
probably would not. I think it will. I think it will fall apart and get rubbery.
Okay, so put the broth in, but save the chicken till later.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So a question, so 12 cups of broth seems like a lot of liquid for this recipe. Does it cook off?
The beans will absorb quite a bit. It's going to be a very thick chili when it's done.
I cooked this earlier in the week, and because I misbehave, I'm cooking a different soup tonight because I never follow instructions well. But I did cook it, and it's delicious. I thought it was too much water. So I would say add some and save a little, because I used the full amount, and I found it a little liquidy.
Oh, okay.
In fact, what I ended up doing was making a separate pot of rice because we had some for dinner. We had it on the rice, and then I made a separate batch of rice and threw it into the soup before I put it in the freezer. So.
And the beans are canned, right? So they're already soft.
Correct.
Okay, so maybe I will be somewhere between Marge and Brad.
There you go. It's
Thank
soup.
you
I don't
so
think
much.
there's any wrong answer, right? You just sit there and you get it to the consistency you want.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
So I'm in Rhode Island and this is great. So I'm wondering, you're all making this soup and then are you all donating this batch of soup? Is that how that works?
Dominique, where are you? Want to handle that? All right, I'm going to handle that. So tell me, well, let me tell you about what we're doing, and then you can tell me how you are on from Rhode Island. I'm excited that you're here. So what we do is we ask whoever wants to cook with us on Saturdays to cook a big pot and then feed themselves and their family and package up the rest to share with others. So as I have mentioned, some people have shared with neighbors in need or people in their community that they know might be in need either of some actual food or just a kind gesture. And if they don't necessarily have people that they know that they want to give their quarts of extra soup to, then we've also listed on our website some local places and some people who have cooked with us in Virginia. Lynne in Virginia went and found a shelter that we posted that people who are in Virginia can now give to. And if you want to become our Rhode Island lead, you can tell us a good place or two that people up near you might want to donate to, and we can try to encourage people from your area to sign on and have places where they can deliver. So many of our quarts, of the 400, I would say 2/3 or 3/4 have gone to families who are food insecure right now and are getting support from the county and from neighbors in an organized way. And maybe 1/4 of our soups have just gone personally to people who we wanted to share with personally.
So organizations are open to food that is made in a like certified
Yeah, at this point, some
restaurant?
are. At this point, some are. Many
Okay.
still aren't. And certainly before the pandemic, more were not open to just dropping off food. But also, I think it speaks in part to the relationships we've built over the years and that they know, we ask people to identify the soup that they're donating, not only what it is and what might be an allergy concern, but also that you're with Kind Soups and your name. So it's not, just your first name, just so that you're not just dropping something off that nobody knows what it is. It's kind of an organized effort. So it's slightly trusted more than maybe.
Okay.
And tell us how you got on.
Is Kind Soups a national organization?
No, it's not. It's an initiative that we created. KindWorks is a fairly local community service organization, but when we can, when we have a need, we reach out and do projects that have a farther reach than local. And this one is just so easy to make farther that we've encouraged people in Rhode Island and Virginia and New York and anywhere else to come and cook with us.
I think the really cool thing is it brings us together in a community. That's KindWorks model. It's bringing people together to make it easy to do good. And so this is really cool to meet you and hear about Aunt Lynne, who I didn't know anything about, and try new recipes. And it fits right into your schedule. Like, we got to cook dinner anyways. Now we can meet new people, eat. I've dropped mine off to a family with a new baby. I've dropped it off to another family where both parents had COVID and their 11 and 14-year-old boys had to feed them. So I would drop off soup that could just be heated up. Do you know what I mean? It was easy for them, and so it's great that Deb has these relationships and KindWorks names so that we can drop off to organizations and feed the food insecure. And it's just so neat that it's a balance. We can do both. People we know, drop them off to someone and know that you're helping someone and lightening their burden in this hard time.
Thank you. That sounds great. It's a great organization. Yeah, I love it.
So
There's in Rhode
how-
Island, we have a few restaurant incubators programs. So I was thinking maybe we could start something at one of those where they have the Rhode Island Department of Health certified kitchens and all.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
So how did you hear? No, that's okay. How did you hear about this?
I don't know. One of my cousins, my cousin Sheila, is married to Brad.
Ah, okay.
A couple of my sisters are online too here.
That's so fun. Sisters, identify yourselves. Who do we have?
Susan, Janet, Anne Marie. I don't know where Barbara is.
That's So fun.
Got our Aunt Jean on, Sheila. Yep. great.
Good. Thanks for
Well, she's
sharing your family, Sheila.
I was waving to say hi, not that I'm one of the aunts. Sorry. I got confused.
So one of the other things, this is Marcia, is during these sessions, we get all these very good cooking tips. So Dominique, I'm using Better Than Bouillon tonight, and I used it for our last soup, and it really was perfect. One thing I did though is I only use half of what they say because it has a lot of salt in it, that even like the sodium one. But I use half a teaspoon. I think it's supposed to be a teaspoon per cup or something, and I used half a teaspoon.
I'm doing the same thing, Marcia.
Yeah,
That's great.
Pick some up too. And now that Marge has told us to make sure that our burner is on, now we're going to be fabulous cooks. We're all set.
It's a miracle, it really is. I had a burner on, I just had the wrong burner on. And I'm making the soup that has the one that where you're supposed to cook the cumin seeds up front. And I'm wondering why because I cook in 2 pots, I don't have a big enough pot. I'm wondering why is this one popping and the other one doesn't look like it's doing anything? Well, duh.
I think another option with this soup, you could prepare it post-Thanksgiving and use turkey in it. Just FYI, trying to use up turkey leftovers, you could very easily do that as well. I also think it has enough flavor that if you wanted to replace chicken with another type of vegetable, you could make it a vegetarian, not vegan, but a vegetarian soup if you wanted to.
yeah, I'm using mushrooms instead of chicken.
Okay, very good. What kind of mushrooms?
They're baby bellas.
Oh, yum.
So they have a little, I figured they'd be sort of like chicken, right?
Yeah.
Next best thing.
They have a nice flavor. This one, usually when we're making it at home or we're serving it for the family, the step 5 that I have listed where we're at the very end, after we put everything in, it says stir in the cilantro, the green onion and cheese. We actually almost make it like a Mexican chili, serve it like a Mexican chili and do all that stuff at the very end and just let people on the table add that in as much as they want to. Here for the purpose of donation, I just made that as part of one of the steps. And that's why the other thing on the optional at the bottom now is add salsa and avocado. And you could do that if you're serving it that night. You obviously don't want to add avocado and salsa to it if you're going to be freezing it and donating it, because that would not be pleasant.
Is it supposed to be foaming up a lot, or is that my mushrooms that are doing that? I did rinse the beans quite well.
Mine does not usually foam up. That might be your mushrooms.
Okay.
Deb, I'm wondering, for those people who are not familiar with KindWorks, if you can describe some of the many, many activities that you do, because that also might be an inspiration for the Rhode Island folks.
Yeah, thank you, Marcia. Betsy, we have always looked for ways that we can engage people in the community to meet the needs in the community. So one of the things that when we met Betsy was about a year ago when the government went on, what do you call it, hiatus? They closed down the government. What do you call that? The shutdown, right?
Oh, I won't use the language which would first came to mind, but the shutdown, I think is
the shutdown, yeah. And so some of us were looking for ways to reach out to people. Some of us went down and worked at Jose Andres's a restaurant that fed all government employees who were interested, could just come by and get meals. So anyway, and then Betsy and her husband have been active in our refugee home setups since then. So we set up homes using almost exclusively donated furniture and house furnishings, and then we made a group that cooked welcome meals to put in the refrigerators that were a taste of wherever the family was coming from, home country, so that when they first arrived in their newly set up beautiful apartments, they also would have a home cooked dinner from their home country in the refrigerator. That was a great project we had been doing. We bring dinners to shelters. We had been cooking recovered food and donating those delicious meals that were made fully out of recovered food, which would have been waste, make beautiful meals and delivering them to different shelters in our area. Wherever we can find a way, we are keeping people happy and busy. Getting involved in meeting the needs of others. What we've been doing a lot of now is supporting our area, supports families in need through neighborhood consolidation hubs. And they deliver food and other kinds of essential supplies, as well as they home deliver. So the people who are home with COVID don't have to get out of their home to go get what they need to live. And so people have been driving home deliveries of food boxes and supplies. People are packing these food boxes in these consolidation hubs, and we support all of those kinds of activities, as well as doing collections for the needed supplies that that they use to support those families. So it's a pretty extensive but always changing group of projects. So if anyone's interested, check our website, which is dokindworks.org. Oh, actually, I'll do one more and then I'll stop talking. Another really fun way we've just decided to make ourselves useful is we've got a crackerjack team of computer refurbishers. So we are willing to take all your old and even sometimes broken computer equipment and pieces that belong, plugged into your computer, all the pieces that go with it, and turn them into new operating devices that we share free to students and families who need better connectivity. People who but for the tools would be students, would be able to participate often in ESOL classes, sometimes in just their elementary and middle and high school, secondary schools. Sometimes college students don't really have the computers that they need to be able to do this. So much of life right now is online that we've been finding people that we can give these to and really start level up the digital playing field, as well as reduce all this garbage going into all these electronics going into the landfill. So that's been fun. If anybody's got anything, let me know. So maybe while people are cooking and letting their beans and broth let their beans soak up their broth. Somebody asked me, and I wanted to see if anybody else wanted to share their ideas. Somebody asked me yesterday, what has the pandemic imposed on you that you're glad about? What good has come out of the pandemic in your lives?
I like the Zooming. And I've seen it like with my parents, they have siblings across the country, and they probably would not have seen them this year anyway, maybe once, but now they Zoom every other week. So I think people are finding that, hey, this technology has been around and now we're just thinking about using it, in all these different ways. And hopefully that'll continue even past the pandemic, for people who are physically separated.
I'm not a particular Zoom fan. I mean, it's okay. It's kind of cool to see all you people. Hello, all you people. But I play Mahjong once a week, and sometimes we have to cancel games in the wintertime, especially when the roads, if the roads are icy, or in the summertime, if there's a lousy thunderstorm or something. And so there's a site called realmahjong.com, and the first 2 weeks were free, and it's like $5 a month. And it's just so much easier, so that now random people, you can play with random people throughout the country, or the globe, I guess. And it's kind of been fun to do this. You don't have to worry about, oh, I don't want to get dressed to go out to so-and-so's house. Now I can just sort of sit there in my jammies and play Mahjong if I want to play Mahjong once a week. It's kind of nice.
Interesting. Well, for me, it's been wonderful in so many ways. I mean, I feel guilty saying how wonderful it's been. Um, well, for one, the kind of yoga I want to do to strengthen my bones because I have osteoporosis is not available here in Reston. So I found some great yoga, and a person who's been teaching this kind of thing for 40 years, and she's in Teaneck, New Jersey. And I now do yoga with her like 5 times a week. And it's fabulous. A group of friends of ours, we used to get together once a month on Fridays. We call ourselves the First Friday Friends, and 8 of us would go out to dinner. Well, now we get together twice a week. But what I want to tell you about is that we developed this game that's really cool. So it's an old game called Taboo, where you guess the words, Tabu. Well, we changed it into, we tell stories about the word so people can guess. And the stories are about our lives. So we're really getting to know each other even more. I could go on and on. Really, during this time, I've discovered so many ways in which to stay connected and to learn new things, like what we're doing here today. I wouldn't be driving over to Maryland to cook with you all, but you're a lovely group of people, and I look forward to cooking with you on Saturdays now.
Thank you.
What I found is a little, it's all about connections. I think it's wonderful that we're all talking about how people are finding or discovering or reaffirming ways of making connections. So even in our neighborhood, remember in the beginning, no one wanted to leave their home. We were all being very cautious about leaving and trying to use as much as we could at home without having to go out and go shopping. And the neighbors, we just all started this barter thing, It's the classic, do you have a half a cup of sugar or whatever happened to be needed? Do you have a toilet plunger? And it developed a kind of thicker relations among the people who have, we've always been very friendly with our neighbors, but this created a sense of interdependency, which has been sustained, which is really, really lovely. I'm very grateful for that, even though, yes, grateful for that.
So interesting. It's so easy to just be mad at the pandemic, but it's so interesting to really think about all these things that have been added to our lives.
One of the other things I found interesting, although I don't particularly like Zoom, is we've had the opportunity to do Zoom tours. We did a Zoom tour. I'm a Krieger docent. Krieger's an art museum for those of you who aren't from here. And I've done a tour of the Clifford Still Museum out in Denver. This is not a place I probably ever would have gotten to. And we're going to do Crystal Bridges in Arkansas, another place I'm even less likely to get to, in January. And I'm really excited about that. It's, we've been on different art tours. The Smithsonian offers some. Viking Cruises has some very interesting tours and recipes. And I don't know if I know that the museum tours didn't exist beforehand, but, the Viking things have been great. You see different parts of the world, you hear experts on penguins or something speaking. So it's an intriguing thing. I enjoy that.
Sheila, why don't you tell them about the Downton Abbey? Oh, you're on mute.
Unmute.
There you
Here we
go.
go. The Downton Abbey thing.
Yeah, Highclere Castle.
Oh yeah, so that's one of the things that I found a Zoom thing. The Highclere Castle is where the Downton Abbey show is filmed, and I don't know how exactly I found it, but they do these virtual happy hours. The Lord and Lady of Carnarvon, that's really them that live there at that Downton Abbey. And so periodically they'll do these virtual happy hours from that location on a Friday. And they have a Highclere gin that they make. I haven't been able to find it in any of our local liquor stores, but it's just kind of neat to see that and like to really see how they live. And, you know, you can type in little questions or whatnot. And yeah, that's been pretty fun.
Usually once a week, they go through a different room though, right? I mean, they highlight one
And so
room.
they'll have their happy hours like in a different room of the castle, or they've done happy hours that are like outside on the grounds. They'll drive up in the old Rolls Royce, and it's kind of fun. Yep. And Brad and I used to do a lot of volunteering before we moved to the DC, Maryland area, mostly at our local zoos where we lived. And so this has been a really nice way to do some volunteering, and I feel like a really safe atmosphere. And for sure, I would have never thought to cook like really any of the soups that we've cooked on the KindSoup Saturdays. So it's really broadened my horizons as you know, a person that enjoys cooking. I don't cook a lot of soups, but yeah, it's really cool, and they've all been really tasty. And you know, we've dropped some off to our neighbors, but mostly dropped them off to the Black Rock Center. And I did a little bit of volunteering over there about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So yeah, it's been nice.
It was so fun of you both to step up and lead one, even though you're kind of new to KindWorks and new to the area. Thank you for doing that.
Sure.
Fun.
Well, Brad's like the real chef in our family. So I figure if I could get in on it and like see how easy it was, I could kind of slowly drag him over. So yeah.
Good plot. Good plan.
Like,
My daughter and I visited cousins in England, and we went out to Highclere Castle. And so we walked up the path, and it was raining, so we had umbrellas. We walked up the path that Robert walks up with Isis, the dog, and the music was playing in our head, and we took pictures, and it was really a lot of fun. I think it's true. I didn't realize how fun it would be to cook on Zoom together, because we did the refugee meals and we'd cook together, pack up for the refugees and donated dinners, and then sit down and have a meal together. But this, you know, again, broadens it beyond that. You know, it's really, really, really fun to connect with people now from different parts of the country. It's really exciting. And I love the stories about food.
And it's wonderful to have family members here. And I think this, you know, this is my first Soup Saturday, but it would be kind of neat for people to invite other family members from different parts of the country or who are not necessarily involved in this to join in and cook together. So just a thought. I'm thinking of who I can wrangle into this.
Well, I can tell you my mother refuses to be a part. Which is so crazy. I said, Mom, what's your favorite soup? Split pea soup. I said, all right, Mom, we'll make split pea soup. She said, all right, you and I can make it one day. I was like, no, Mom, we'll make it with my Zoom friends. Hopefully you'll have more luck than I did, Betsy.
Well,
I'll let you know.
It's funny. I have a friend who's a yoga teacher, and so she moved her yoga class online, and then her best friend from years ago in Oregon found out she was doing it. Now her friend can come to yoga, which would never have happened in real life. So silver linings.
Right. And Lenny, Kelly wants to know if you will share the yoga class information from TNEC. You're unmuted.
I am more than happy to. I try to refer as many people as I know to her because I think she is amazing. Amazing. So do a
Tell
lot.
us all. Yeah, put it in the chat list either this time or next time.
And she watches you while you do it and she corrects you. It's fabulous. And it's not even that expensive. I mean, it's wonderful.
Oh, good.
Stone Yoga in Teaneck, New Jersey.
Deb, I don't want to take up too much time on tech support, but I have a quick question. I've never gone back and gotten any information off of a Zoom session chat, you know, that I've seen. Is there an easy way to do that after the Zoom is over?
No, there's an easy way for the host to capture the Zoom, which makes it's pretty unreadable. It all comes in like a big mess, but your best bet is to actually copy and paste unless somebody knows more than I do, which is very likely, copy and paste the Zoom chat into a document.
As it's happening.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
if you see something you want, just copy and paste it. I do
Gotcha.
have a copy, so anyone can always reach out to me for whatever information they need. But it's pretty I didn't think to send it out to everybody, and I don't even have everybody's email addresses, really.
You can also
Gotcha.
screenshot anything.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes
Julia,
sense.
are you a new face?
Yes, but I know you from Wednesday morning group.
That's how we know. Okay, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
I'm
And
glad you're here.
my silver lining is we have a pandemic puppy.
Oh, nice.
Yes, so he's been fun, and he's barking for the chicken. That's the problem. That's why I keep putting myself on mute, because he keeps barking. He wants the chicken.
Can we see him? Can we
Yes.
see him?
Yes, here he is.
Oh, looks like
Oh,
Julie's dog.
well, no wonder you have to give him chicken. He's
Yeah.
so cute.
He's a 7-month-old mini golden doodle.
Oh,
Aw.
great dog. Enjoy him. What's his name?
His name's Avery, and we also have a 2.5-year-old mini golden doodle named Finn. So now we have 2.
That's great.
So it's been busy around here.
That's good. Yeah. It's a pandemic is a good time to be too busy, right? Otherwise it's definitely boring. Yeah. I'm glad you joined us.
Thank you. It's been fun.
So I'm looking to adopt a cat. Ours passed away about a year ago. And I was just wondering if anybody had some luck with any of the more local rescues.
So I have a friend who does a lot of volunteering with especially cats up in, I think, Rockville, whatever the Humane Society up in Rockville is. And I would put you in touch with her, Sarah, because then she can personally pick a kitty out for you. How's that?
That's
All right.
fine. I'm familiar with that one years and years and years ago. You know, it's right off of, that would be
All right.
great.
Her name's Teresa, and I'll connect you two after we finish the Zoom.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We share the same color kitchen, if you can see.
Yes, except yours is beautiful, but I picked out the pretty color.
It's a change to that color exactly.
Yeah,
it was a deep, like a bittersweet rust color, and then I finally changed it. With the white, you can't see. I have a desktop here, so I'm not. It's not. Well, it's not wrong way to move it. I don't know. I don't even know which way to move it. Anyway, that's the color.
You know what? That is so great. Your kitchen is beautiful. That's what mine would look like if I knew how to decorate anything, because it's got the coloring and the white cabinetries and stuff.
White cabinetry. I made those panels
So beautiful.
cover windows because the backlight on the screen was, I knew I was going to be on screen forever and ever, and I couldn't see.
Grab a chair.
So
That's beautiful.
thanks.
Do we know what the recipe is going to be for next Saturday?
Yes, it's a competing, we're doing in my house, the red versus white chili. Next Saturday, Denise is leading us on a red chili, and it can be vegetarian or meat. The recipes are as far in advance as we know who wants to lead what. So there's maybe 2 or 3 more weeks of recipes already on the website. Do you have a favorite soup or stew, Betsy?
Probably. We make, when we make chili, we make turkey chili. So I use turkey instead of ground beef.
Yeah.
But I'll look through some cookbooks and see if something is something that can be done within this time frame and is nutritious, kind of calorie packed, and think about it.
Thanks.
So thank you, Deb.
Deb, I need to ask about vegetarian recipes because I can't, as you know, we're not going to cook the meat recipes.
Yeah.
So are all of these, I mean, this one obviously is a chicken recipe and I did cook it, but I'm not going to be able to lead it separately. Next week is also a meat recipe.
Yeah, but those are the first 2 out of all that we've done.
I know that.
Yeah, and next week's recipe can definitely be adapted to be vegetarian. Just check the notes on the recipe.
Okay. With, again, with portobellos or something like that? With the
We didn't, I think that would probably go great. I think it's, it's like a tomato base. So I think the recommended add-ins, I'm just going from memory, be like corn, trying to remember what other, but really any other veggies, I'm sure the mushrooms would work great.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Sure.
And for your, we're not going to do it January 3rd. It looks like it's going to be January 10th. Okay.
Okay, cool. So they're in.
Who knows? And who knows who'll show up?
Okay.
Second and fourth Sundays is what we're going to do.
Good.
Okay.
So what Marge is sharing is her temple is going to be doing Zoom soups. So that's fantastic. Kind soups.
We're going to try to do Zoom soup.
Well, Marge is trying to get her temple to cook kind soups twice a month and do like what we're doing, but you know, amongst themselves. So that's fantastic. Good luck. And we're happy to help you lead the first couple if you'd like, or whatever.
Yeah, I keep writing down the questions you asked, like when we talked about the kitchen utensils that belonged, or today's question about.
Yeah, we know how to package a good thing, Marge. You might want us on those. We're happy to help. We're happy to help.
Thank you.
How's everybody's chili looking? Is it reduced?
Still looking soupy, but I just decided that if it's going to be chili soup, it's going to be chili soup. It's going to be delicious. It's gone for about 20 minutes. So.
Well, as I said, I added the rice, and that certainly, you know, that reduced the soupiness of it. So that might be worth, you know, just cook a separate pot of rice and throw it in. Yep. Mine looks suspiciously like Indian lentil soup. I don't know why.
I just took an unauthorized taste and it's delicious. Thanks, Aunt Lynn.
Brad, should it be soupy at all, or should it be totally beans?
It could be a little bit soupy. I mean, it will, again, I put in all 12 cups of fluid and of chicken stock, and mine has started to thicken up. It's not like stand up a spoon in it thick, but it is thicker, almost, you know, if you will, pasty. And then when you stir in the cheese, that will also thicken it up quite a bit.
So Brad, you are saying to go ahead and put in the cilantro, green onions, and cheese, even though we're going to then freeze it up.
Yep, and it worked well. I did a practice run with that first, just to make sure I didn't give you bad advice.
Fantastic. Okay.
Is the cheese something you would normally save to just have on top if you were having it at home?
Yeah, actually, all of those ingredients, the cilantro, green onions, and cheese, you could put that on the table and let family members add as little or as much as they'd like. That's kind of like a taco,
Yeah.
if you will. And then that respect,
Gotcha.
same thing with the salsa and the avocado.
I have to say, I look forward to this. It gets me to cook earlier than I normally would. And it's just so much funner cooking with other people. I always tease whenever I cook with friends or we did our refugee meals, I'd always be like, when I do this, like, I kind of think like, those, multiple wives cooking and things like, there's an upside to that, even if there are downsides. And so to have a time and to do it together is really fun.
It's nice having Brad as one of our multiple wives, one of our sister wives.
I think it's just interesting to get everybody's feedback on how they modify it to make it work for them. And I guess that's, the key to soup is there's very little you can do to mess it up unless you're working with a cream soup and you break it. Other than that, everything else is really, really easy.
The word that keeps coming up every week is these recipes are forgiving.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't have one ingredient, put something else. Oh, well, cook it, just taste it and fix it how you want.
Yeah. So when you guys, do you use the stalks of cilantro? There was one one herb, I can't remember which one, that somebody, I think it was Dominique, you said, oh yeah, just chop all that up. Was it cilantro?
Yes.
Okay.
I use the whole thing. Yeah, and after it, you get to that 45 minutes and you've cooked it down, all you got to do is stir in the other stuff, and literally, after you have the cilantro, green onions, and cheese, and just throw the chicken in right then as well, and you're good.
Fantastic.
You're just warming up the chicken at this point in time. You're not really having to cook it.
Okay.
No, this isn't for you guys.
Somebody wants more chicken.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh,
So good. Not a speck of salt, huh?
no.
All right, it's delicious.
So you have salt in the cheese, obviously, and I think that's, let me see if there was salt on the beans when I looked at the cans. I didn't know if there was any sodium there.
Great, delicious.
Hey, this is Sheila. I think when my cousin Patricia, who was asking about like where people that are not from like Rhode Island or the DMV area to like drop off their soup or give it to other people, I was really surprised to find that there are quite a few of these, like food pantries, especially that might be affiliated with a church or place like that, that they would be accepting of the soup. There were a couple that are around us in the Rockville area that when I went on their website, I just like Googled, food pantry, because I didn't know anything about like all those places that were listed on this KindWorks website. And so I found that they were open, and they had posted on their website, on the church website for their food pantry, that they accepted, frozen meals if people had prepared them. So yeah, I wouldn't let that stop anybody from like saying, oh yeah, I don't really know where. Just I'd say Google and check the website and give a call if you have to, because I'm sure there are a lot of places that would have the capacity to take the frozen soup, as long as it's labeled, and there's good labeling directions on this KindWorks website.
So
I think-
Sheila, sorry.
Yeah, you guys made it very easy for like a new person like me joining this to really figure out how to do it. Like the instructions were very clear. The places that you listed, I could find easily. And of course, the recipes being posted a couple of weeks ahead of time for me to get all my ingredients together.
Yeah, good. And are you visiting mom, or is mom visiting you, or is mom live with you, or what's?
Yes, I'm visiting my mom. So Brad and I, my mom lives in Rhode Island, and so Brad and I drove up last Saturday. We got COVID tested and everything, so we were good. My mom's of a certain age, we'll say.
Yep.
So we went up here, and Brad actually got up this morning and drove back from Rhode Island at 6 a.m. so he could be at our home in Maryland.
Because of the cooking, Brad?
Yeah.
Oh, that was so sweet of you. Thank you. You had to be in your home kitchen, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just easier that way.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. And thanks for calling in, Sheila. It's fun to see you and your mom's not there now, but she was there earlier, right?
Yep.
She's
nice. Actually right
there
here.
She is. Hi, Mom. How long will you be staying, Sheila?
For quite a while.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Enjoy your visit. How nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's great.
And it's great to see all my cousins on here too. Hi, everybody.
That is so fun. I'll tell you what we'll do. The rest of us, it's 6 o'clock. So if anybody has any last questions, go ahead and ask. And then I'll just go dark. I'll turn off my microphone and my video, but you guys can stay on and just have your party. How's that? I mean, all of us non-Sheila family people will hang up, but Sheila and you and your family can stay on.
And I'm going to go, but I wanted to say, I think this one's going to go in our rotation.
It's
Really
so
like
good,
this
right?
recipe. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Thank you, Brad. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Brad.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks very
Yeah,
much.
thank you,
This is
Deb.
great.
Enjoy.
everybody have a good week. Happy New Year before
Happy
we
New
do
Year,
it
everyone.
again.
A better
Happy New
2021.
Year.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Sure.
You're so good. A lot of people happy, Brad. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It was very delicious. We had it for dinner the other night. Thanks.
Oh,
Good.
thanks a lot, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye,
I'm
Deb.
signing off, but you guys can stay.
Well, there's Barbara.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh.
There you go.
There you go. Hi, Barbara.
Doing?
Hey.
I got my URI sweatshirt on.
All right.